and gentlemen. Podcasting since 2005. You were listening to Gamer Tag Radio with your hosts Godfrey, Pete Rock, Paris, Pasta. Come on.
Welcome to Gamer Tag Radio 516. This is your host Danny, aka Godfrey, and of course, let's start with Poston. Poston, your last show was hashtag the Poston Show. How you feeling today?
I feel like on top of the world right now. Honestly, feel pretty good. And that's all I got to say about that, honestly. But
okay,
yeah, I appreciate the feedback about that. That was a really fun show. I didn't expect to do that, to be honest. I didn't expect that many awesome things to come out of one press conference from Paris.
It was really good.
Out of nowhere.
Give it to Sony. That was
loved
awesome.
it. Had a great time.
Yeah. All right, and also, Pete, are you still awake? You still having those drinks?
No, I switched it up. New episode, new attitude, vodka and cranberry. Let's go.
Wow.
All right. Nice.
First, it was espresso, non-drinks, and now it's official liquor.
Oh, yeah. I'm all over the place tonight.
He's jumped me again. I'm still on the beer train, but, full speed ahead. This podcast.
I'm a system of extremes. I'm going to go full on caffeine. Now just straight vodka. Let's go.
All right. All right. So head over to gamertagradio.com or play.it. Listen to our past episodes. Share with your friends. Subscribe. iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, Spotify. We're everywhere. And head over to gamertagradio.com or play.it. And also email us, fanmail at gamertagradio.com or give us a call 786-273-7GTR. That's 786-273-7GTR. It's been a while. And this is my favorite part of the show. Fan mail.
Fan mail at gamertagradio.com.
All right. So this is what we're going to do. At the end of the show, we're going to decide. Well, you know what? I'm gonna give it another week because there's been people still sending emails, questions, and stuff. So look, if you have either the Steam machine, in the future, or you'll have a PC or Mac and you have Steam, then the person that sends us the best question, I'm going to give them a code of all Valve games, past, present, and also future games. This is all yours to keep forever.
Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Half-Life 3 or Portal.
If it exists, you're going to get it.
So remember, send us questions. I'm going to give you an extra week. If you send us the best questions from this episode to the next, we're going to pick a winner, and we're going to give you a free code. Make sure to put in an email that you want this Steam code, all right? So that's for exclusively for you, for the listener.
So who gets to decide who's going to get that code?
We all got to decide.
We're going to have a council meeting in a dark room with candles.
Yes.
Say some
Why
chants.
Be candles, though. Where did candles come from?
How you can have a dark room without candles? You can't have a secret meeting without candles. No electricity allowed. Come on.
And then we'll have goats and all these crazy...
Whoa, no, I don't know. Sacrifices, Danny, to get a little crazy there. Candles is enough for me.
All right, so we have a lot of questions, man. So have any emails that we should start off with first? I'm going to play the voicemails later, but... let's see. Of course, still people are sending us stuff about digital and physical, but I'm gonna change it up. I want to change it up for this week. All right, this is from Eves. And he's from or he or she, I don't know. It doesn't really say.
It's a male. He's from Boston, Massachusetts, I believe.
Okay. So it's all right. He's from Boston, Massachusetts. And he goes, "Hey, I've been a listener for about 2 years. This is a great show, and I love what you guys have become. I can't say I totally miss Mandy, but I did love those countless PlayStation 4 versus Xbox debates. I must say, Paris is now much more viral since her departure. Laughing aloud. He's really cool now. That's what he said. So then he's like, hey, my question is, EX Access has been around for just over a year now. and at the time at his arrival, many predicted that the most publishers would follow suit. Do you think that sometimes that still may happen? I don't see any companies picking that model. Thanks. Thanks for the email. I see that happening in the future. I think right now it's like a wait and see type thing. They probably are waiting to see the results from EA, because EA is still adding games there to EA Access. And I tell you, I think the first company that might do that in the future, I see Ubisoft doing that.
I was thinking the
Activision.
same thing. Ubisoft has the strongest third-party lineup out there, probably, in my opinion. So like that with against EA, they could be very, very competitive with each other. My question is, I'm just curious, give EA Access a full year. I want to know their numbers, what kind of money they were making, what kind of subscribers they were getting versus their digital and physical sales. Because I just don't know how. Are they losing money on this but gaining fandom? Or are they actually making a profit? It's really hard to tell because they're probably very quiet about this kind of stuff until they have to release the shareholders. So I would assume, because it's such an unknown, that a lot of companies are staying out of these waters right now because they want to let EA take the fall if possible to see if this is going to work, if it's going to fail, are people on board with this. But I mean, for people like me, it's not useful because I play every new game as it comes out, and I would not have the patience to wait for them to show up on some service. Now,
well, like right now they released Need for Speed, the new game.
Yeah, that's the thing. If they do it where all the new games join the service the same day they launch, you don't have to wait, then yes, that becomes competitive. And I might think about that moving forward, thinking about Rainbow Six, the new Ghost Recon, things like that for Ubisoft. I could see them going that route. I just would want to know what EA... I'd want to hear from them directly, essentially.
Okay.
To know how this is working out for them. What's the market penetration like? What kind of feedback are they getting on it? Because I haven't tried the service at all. I've only read about it from the outside. But yeah, if any of our listeners out there use EA Access, please send us fan mail. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the service and if you enjoyed it or not, or if you've used it and stopped using it for some reason. I just don't know anybody personally that uses EA Access or has used it in the past. So I'm just curious, how widespread it actually is before other companies jump into those waters. Like, okay, clearly EA's profited with this. Let's jump on this right now. I think everyone else is pretty content with the old school method of just spend a couple years making a game, market the hell out of it, release it, hope it does well, support it after the launch. That works for 99% of games. So I'm curious to know. I think what would be good is that they could somehow do it in like a humble bundle type of situation where you have a correlation of indie game developers coming together to say, hey, look, sign up for our indie game pass and our games become available to you and future games that we make become available to you. And I think if they could get like a pretty sizable stable of independent developers all to get on board with this, they could make some money because a lot of people aren't willing to pay the $5, $10, $15, $20, whatever for random indie games they don't know anything about. It's kind of like, just it's jumping in blind more or less. Having the pass for indie games makes a lot more sense because you're unsure, but you also trust some of these developers. Maybe you play their past works. You're like, they seem to know what they're doing. They've come from bigger studios and want to make smaller work. I would support these guys. So some of the Kickstarter mentality, essentially, where you're like, you know what? I could see great things coming for my money. I'll go ahead and subscribe to this theoretical indie game pass and see what happens. So, if I've give people any ideas right now, I hope so, because I would buy that probably. Of any kind of access pass, the indie one is the most lucrative to me because I already buy all my AAA games at launch day one. So I don't need this theoretical pass for AAA games. I'm more concerned about indie games that I might miss.
Yeah, I see that with more of the indie side, of course, but AAA, a little bit tough. So next question, Pete or Austin, you want to go? This is from Adrian. He was like, short and sweet. Star Wars Battlefront. Buy it, play it, put it on the shelf. It's okay, but not awesome.
I mean, we're going off a beta, so again, I've already ripped into the beta on a previous episode of how I think it's pretty shallow. But I'm still kind of interested in the main game because I love Star Wars and I want to give them a chance. Maybe the DLC will be good. I don't know. Again, it's the whole issue of it's coming out at a time when a lot of other games I want to play are also coming out. And you would think me being the biggest Star Wars nut that I know would factor into that, but it kind of doesn't because Episode 7 is stealing all of that thunder. If Episode 7 wasn't coming out this year and my only Star Wars was Battlefront 3, I'd be like, yeah, Battlefront 3, that sounds amazing. But after the beta, it just left a sour taste in my mouth. So again, I'm going to play the full version.
PlayStation or Xbox?
Good question. Probably PlayStation because I played as a third-person shooter, as I mentioned before, just because I prefer it that way. And I think the PS4 is a really good controller for third-person shooters, a la Uncharted, and Xbox is a first-person shooter controller. Again, my opinion. It's just the way I prefer playing my games. But we'll have to see. I don't know. Okay. Maybe even PC. Maybe I can wait until I get my PC at the end of the year. I might even just wait and get it then because I play Battlefront 2 on PC every once in a while, and that's a lot of fun. So if that's anything similar to that, maybe. I don't know. But right now, again, Force Awakens, man. That's all I care about.
All right. I already bought my tickets for Thursday night at 10 o'clock.
Bring it on.
I'm ready. In December. Pete, what about you? Yay, nay?
Yay on the movie. On the game, I did play it on Origin. I really enjoyed it. On the PC.
Did you do mouse and keyboard?
Absolutely.
That's what I do in Battlefront 2 as well. I like that method.
Yeah. Okay. It felt better on PC as opposed to China. I did hook up the controller. I didn't get the feel and response I should have gotten on a PC. I kind of I'm the type of person when I play a PC game, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to not try. The only difference is on games like Sleeping Dogs, where you got to transition back and forth between, controller to keyboard, mouse. It's kind of crazy. But on this one, I was like, no, I'm not going to even bother, connect the controller. I'm just going to go straight keyboard and mouse the way a game should be done on a PC. And I really dug it. Like, I enjoyed it. I still feel that there's components where some parts were underpowered and.
I agree. It was very unbalanced. I think
the rebel side was really underpowered. Like you were already starting.
But isn't that canonical though to the movie? They do get their asses kicked.
It's different when stormtroopers are actually killing you and hitting you.
Yeah, as opposed to missing everywhere.
So that there's that tangent you got to mentally deal with, but. For me personally, it always felt that if you started off on the rebel side, you were always fighting an uphill battle, especially if you were in the snow. It was. That being said, I really think it has a chance. I think the chance is going to be short lived. I don't think it's going to last. I don't think the hype is going to last beyond January, February, March.
If they can get free DLC from Force Awakens, that would really help push the longevity of the game. But if they try to sell it, no. People are going to be like,
I don't
no.
think it's going to, and that kind of leads into another question that we had gotten from another user or not, from another listener talking about why, if were there listening, or were there licensing reasons that prevented any of these games from actually being, part of, the Force Awakens story,
the new canon.
You know what I think? I think that has something to do with Disney or Lucas. Like I think that LucasArts. I think that's more of them because remember, they're the ones going to be approving on what other gaming companies going to be working on in the future. They will give them a green light. Okay, yeah, we could do this. Yeah. They could actually say, no, we don't want that. So it all depends on them.
Part of that goes to the new agreement from what I remember is that any new Star Wars content that comes out moving forward has to be Star Wars canon. It has to stick with the stories moving forward. They don't want to have these offshoots of possibilities and concepts and theories and it has to all flow and mix together into one cohesive component going out to the public. So I don't see something like a Star Wars 1313, which is why I built my gaming computer.
How sad is that? You build it for a Ghost game.
It's so disappointing. And I want to say it was Jacob Swinton that brought that up from Charlotte, North Carolina. Thank you for picking at the scabs. Making that quasi-healed wound bleed again.
That's like saying I bought my original Xbox for StarCraft Ghost because I kind of did.
Man, I had so much hope for that. Now that Amy Hennig is over or is back on the on the Star Wars future title, we don't know what it's going to be.
For
where
EA.
it's going to go. But it's definitely something that, she did an amazing job. I believe it was on Mass Effect. Who
Wait, she
knows?
worked on wait. She worked on the Uncharted series, and she left from Naughty Dog to EA.
Was it that or was it? I could've
Yeah, it
sworn
was that.
I
You
could've
could-
sworn
you
she had
could look it
something
up.
to do with. No,
You
you're
could-
right. It was Uncharted.
Yeah,
Completely.
thank you. You're
Why do
welcome.
I have a? Why, I don't know.
It's that drink, Pete. That whatever you're drinking is messing you up. All right, so
Shout out to V Vodka, dude.
This is Gamer Tag Radio. Voicemail 786-2737-GTR.
Just last night, I went out to celebrate my friend's birthday. Pete Rock went out to check out Mayday performing here in Miami, Florida. But before we went out, we used Harry's. This is by far one of my favorite razors, and I've been using this for months. Harry's.com was started by two guys who are passionate about creating a better shaving experience. For Gamertag Radio listeners, Harry's is giving $5 off your first purchase of a starter set with coupon code GTR. Harry's starter set is a month worth of shaving. It comes with a razor, 3 Harry's high-quality German engineer blades, and a bottle of shaving cream. All shipped straight to your door for free. Harry's.com delivers a superior shave for an incredible price. Harry's bought a razor factory in Germany that has been crafting some of the world's highest quality blades for almost a century. By cutting out the middleman, Harry's offers an amazing shave at a fraction of the price of drugstore brands. Shipping is free, and the blades go from their German factory straight to your door at a factory direct prices. Say goodbye to choosing between the expensive brands and say hello to Harry's. High quality blades at a price you will love. Go to harrys.com right now and enter promo code GTR at checkout to get $5 off your first purchase. Get a month worth of shaving for just $10 with promo code GTR at checkout. That's harry.com, promo code GTR.
Voicemail 786-2737-GTR.
All right, so let's go with you want to read this one? New fan, October 15th. Somebody read that, please.
How far are we going back?
It's just a lot of email. It's been 2 weeks. We haven't read fan mail.
I'll do it.
All right, go for it.
This one's from Rand. Hey, Gamertag Radio. I started listening to the podcast about a year ago and just wanted to let you know how much I appreciate you guys doing a clean podcast, as well as having thought out discussions about gaming related topics. It's enjoyable to hear differing opinions between the host and the reasons for their opinions. You guys have a great chemistry and are not afraid to give your honest opinions, despite the shade that might be thrown your way. And there is a lot of it, mind you, a lot. Thanks for all your hard work, and you might make the workday a little more bearable. Well, thanks. We appreciate
Well, thanks, man.
making your workday better. Make
Definitely.
everything better.
I love those. I love those emails.
We feel good.
Awesome. Yeah. Like I always say, you never know who's listening. All right, so next question. Well, you know what? Let me play these voicemails. That we have two. The first one, of course, is about the digital and optical disc. I really don't want to talk about this anymore. We've been talking about it so many times. But I'll let him say his piece. and
I
then
will
we'll be right
respond to
back.
his speculation. I'll give
Okay.
him that much.
All right, so we'll be right back.
Hey, GTR. Guys doing a great job. Loving the 2 a week. I'm not trying to make it weigh my 2 cents in or throw my 2 cents in on the whole digital download versus physical disc thing on the next set of consoles. Thinking 7, 8 years down the road, I'd have to say that in my opinion, there wouldn't be any optical drives in any of the consoles. There might be an optional external you can purchase, but that's my opinion. That's how I kind of how I feel. I've kind of switched myself over to digital, less cumbersome. But hey, as everyone else does, love the show. Thanks a lot, guys. See you.
Boston, very quick. The digital and optical.
The NX one. Do the Nintendo
the
one.
NX? Okay, I'll play that right now.
Start with that.
I'll play right now.
Hey, Gamertag. Long-time listener, first-time caller. My name is Ryan, and I'm stationed here at Langley Air Force Base down in Hampton, Virginia. So I have my own Miss Cleo prediction for the upcoming Nintendo NX. after this past week's leak. I predict that the new Nintendo console will have the best graphics this generation, and the following pros and cons. So pros, the system will be called the Ultra NES. The system will be the first 4K home console, 1080p for the rest of us who can't afford a 4K TV. It'll be x86 architecture, so it'll have easy ports, and it'll be the leading dev console. It'll go back to traditional controllers, so no more waggle. If you want to do that, you can keep your Wii or Wii U. No optical drives, so third parties will love it. Nintendo and Sony will appreciate it going forward. It also comes with a 2 terabyte drive because 4K games are just that big, and you can plug in an additional one as well for more space. The only cons will be that 4K games will take forever to download, especially if you're on DSL. Also, the handheld extension will be sold separately. People will be kind of outraged, but they'll learn to live with it just like a Vita. So, hey, love the show. Keep up the good work. And let me know if my Miss Cleo prediction is something that you're into. Gamer tag is PMG_rise, spelled RYSE_up. So PMG_rise_up on PS4. Peace.
All right, Pawson. Nintendo NX.
Okay, so I appreciate the Miss Cleo. I like it. It's very bold.
He tried fast.
I've been drinking
He
just a little
tried,
bit.
He tried.
Miss Cleo. But
you
no, yes, that is a very bold prediction. I would love that if Nintendo just took the gaming industry by the throat and was like, no, look, we save the gaming industry. We're in charge again. We have the most powerful system. Do I think it will happen? No, because Nintendo is a Japanese company and Japanese businessmen make really strange decisions in these boardroom meetings. I don't know why they do. They just don't understand the Western mentality of gaming because they're doing their own thing over there and they're like, we just do what works. So I don't think there's any possibility it'll be the most powerful system. That would be amazing. I'd be all for an Ultra Nintendo to come out. Now, that said, as long as it's still the same caliber as the PS4 Xbox One, or maybe a little bit better, I don't expect anything amazing out of the system. Just let me run Nintendo games at 1080p, 60 FPS. 4K, though, I don't know about that. Nintendo doesn't even really know what 4K is at this point because that is so out of their ballpark of what they mess with.
Keep on dreaming.
Maybe like 10 years from now, like again, because Nintendo is not a trendsetter. They're not the ones breaking the mold. They're thinking of new and interesting ways to make fun games, which is what they're best at, why we love them. So the NX, again, I do think it'll be optical only. I think we've all pretty much agreed on that at this point, that is something that would be smart for Nintendo to do to get better third-party support for them, to have more reliable first-party games, not having to wait on this to be made.
Did you just say optical or digital?
Again, I'm probably slurring words more or less at this point now.
He's also been drinking, guys, so just
yeah,
bear with him.
So, Nintendo fanboys, I'm going to turn on for a second. Yes, if I can get my Zelda looking amazing at 60 FPS, running at 1080p, or I don't expect 2K or 4K, but as long as it looks good and runs good, I'm all on board. And if that can be more incentive for Nintendo to be like, look, we have the attention of the gaming sphere now. Everyone's looking at us now because when we make an announcement, everyone stops and turns like, what's Nintendo talking about now? If they can knock that out of the park, they could go back to being a dominant force. They could go back to making new IPs regularly and not having to rely on just making remakes and sequels to their series that have been around for 20, 25 years, which it's fine. I love my Zeldas and my Marios and all that good stuff. But Nintendo, things like Splatoon, more of that, please. Things like Bayonetta 2, go that direction. Be an all-encompassing game developer that, applies to everybody and not just what makes you money. Because there's so many loyal Nintendo fanboys and fangirls that have followed them their whole lives. And a lot of them may have turned away from the Wii U at some point, or the Wii at some point, or the GameCube. A lot of people have had different branching points from Nintendo. I think an NX could be that rallying call to be look, we're Nintendo, we make awesome games, this is our new system, buy it. I think an aggressive marketing stance like that with good specs on the system, having a reliable online architecture with actual online multiplayer, and believe it or not, Nintendo needs to get into that ball court and make that work. They're so hesitant to do that. They could be a force to be reckoned with. Because again, Microsoft and Sony are going to go to each other's throats, for the next 5 years, the next console cycle, and then repeat again and again and again. Nintendo has a unique opportunity to do what they want. and they can also steal attention from anybody because they're Nintendo. Only Valve or Blizzard has that level of notoriety, being like, whoa, when they announce something, we stop and listen. Nintendo gets that respect from everybody in the game development industry. From everybody. I don't care if you don't even like their games. You listen up when Nintendo makes a big announcement. So I really hope the NX is their chance to just annihilate E3 next year and just be like, look, we're back. We want it. We're hungry for it. We're thirsty. We want you to be on our system.
I've always been excited about Nintendo, but now I'm getting to the point that I'm just gonna wait and see.
Yeah,
surprise me. I'm not gonna go in there to the press conference.
The Wii U is the first Nintendo console I haven't bought out of all of them. It's kind of sad. I've missed Nintendo. I play my 3DS. I love my 3DS.
Yeah, that's the thing. They have some cool games,
but it's not enough to get me to go buy a Wii U. There's nothing.
Friday, you have your chance.
Maybe, but again, I kind of want an NX instead. I'd rather know that's a thing and be like, look, have my theoretical money. I'm on board for this. Do this, please. This is the right call. Again, I wish I could go sit in their boardroom meetings and just tell them this directly. But I had to learn Japanese first, and that would take forever.
This first? All right, Pete, what happened? Pete, we're going to say something?
Do you have faith that the Nintendo NX is going to stick around
for a very long time?
Or make as much of an impact as, let's say, the Wii did? Or...
Well, I mean, the Wii's kind of cheating because you're looking at it from two angles. You're looking at it from, like, the casual explosion that was the Wii, and the people that were like, we're Nintendo fanboys. We buy Nintendo consoles regardless of what they are because we're that passionate. So, yeah, it was a success for them. So the Wii U looks like a failure by comparison, even though it's kind of not. It's still a good system with good games. I think an NX, yes, that could be a new monument for them.
I don't see it.
It's all in how they present it.
I'm sorry,
I think if they're soft with their presentation, people are going to be like, okay. But if they're aggressive with it and they go for the throat, I think people will remember, like, oh, NX, man, I got to keep an eye out for that. That sounds like something I really want to play. So I think Nintendo has the possibility. The field is open for them. They can do whatever they want, and we will listen and stop and pay attention. But they make it count. They can't half-ass it in any way. I mean, they need to blow their press conference out of the water at E3 next year. And I if I was them, I would skip that whole Nintendo Direct thing and just have a press conference at E3 like they used to. That would get people to be like, "Oh man, Nintendo's back! They're gonna announce something big."
They have to. If they're planning to announce like a new console or something, they have to do.
Yeah, they can't show a video of it on from Japan. It's not going to work at all.
All right, I have one more question, and we're gonna wrap. We're gonna wrap it up from the fan mail, and then we're gonna play the interview after this. So. All right, so this is from Cody. Don't know where he's from, but he wrote, with the addition on communities on the PlayStation 4 3.0 update, have you guys made a GTR, Gamertag Radio, community or thinking of making one? Actually, Cody, thanks for the email. You could go right now to your PlayStation 4. If you update it to 3.0, you can search for us there, and we already created a community of Gamertag Radio. Shout out to Phoenix.
Seriously, he was quicker on the ball than I was. I got scared because I tried. I was like, oh, cool. New update. I want to make a Gamertag Radio community for us. And it was taken. I'm like, who would take that? Oh my gosh. Who would do that? But it was Phoenix, so it's all cool. Yeah. So yeah, we have a cool group. Over 100 members now, I believe, last time I checked. So we're growing strong. Yeah, join us. Can't wait to get some games in. I know Uncharted 4, I'm definitely going to be playing a crap ton with the community, multiplayer-wise.
Now, if you also have Halo 5, we also created a Spartan company.
We did.
That's more of a GTR clan. Mm-hmm. So you want to join, you could join, and I'll approve it. All we have to do is go to Halo Waypoint, go to the website, and go to Spartan companies, and just search for Gamertag Radio. We're there, and I'll give you the approval, and we'll play online. And one of these days, actually, we gotta set up a date, guys, an official date.
Yes,
we're probably gonna announce it on Twitter and Facebook, but I want to have an official date that we all get together and just play, Halo 5 online, Warzone, Arena, everything.
I agree.
I'm excited for that.
I would say let's do it in about 2 weeks.
Yes, once everything slows down.
Obviously, we can't do it this week. I still haven't fired it up. It's downloaded and just sitting on my
nice
on my Xbox One. So.
Voicemail 786-2737-GTR.
There's still plenty of football to be played this season, but it already feels like the playoffs at DraftKings.com, where millionaires are being crowned all season long. DraftKings is fantasy football on demand. With so much money up for grabs, every game is the big game and every play matters. Renew old rivalries or create new ones by playing head-to-head with friends, coworkers, and fantasy players across the nation. This isn't fantasy as usual. This is DraftKings. Welcome to the big time. Like we've been saying all season, folks, why be stuck in a season-long fantasy football league draft when you can play every week at DraftKings.com? Pick your players, set up your matchups, and cash in. Look, people were talking about Tom Brady early in the season. Now people are talking about Devontae Freeman. I mean, there's always going to be that gem that you can find. If you can find them at a low price, you can be a winner at DraftKings. So hurry to DraftKings.com now and turn your love of football into a life-changing payday. Use our promo code GAMERTAG and play for free with your first deposit in Sunday's $1 million fantasy football contest. First place takes home $100,000. Enter that promo code GAMERTAG for a free entry now, only at DraftKings.com. That is DraftKings.com.
Voicemail 786-2737-GTR.
Before we wrap it up, Austin, very quick, make it short. Halo 5. I know you've been playing because Pete.
Thank you, Danny. I was literally about to cut you off and say, Danny, I want to talk about Halo 5.
All right, go.
Before we
Go.
Okay,
Very
so
quick,
I
very
loved
quick.
your guys' review. You did a great job on it. So I beat Halo 5 heroic by myself. I got to say, I had fun.
Okay.
The story was kind of all over the place. I agree with you guys. I'm really sad that you didn't play as Blue Team that often because I kind of bought the game because of Blue Team, and they're in three missions out of the 15. Bummed about that, but still, fun game. Now, that said, I finally got to play co-op today for the first time with 4 players online, legendary mode.
We're friends.
With friends. We got some
Okay.
GTR community members. Shout out to Cinzano and a couple other people. I'm camp drinking, sorry. You know who you are. Thank you for playing with me.
All right.
It was fun. So I played the first 2 missions, beat them on legendary, had a blast, had way more fun than playing by myself. So I think as a co-op game, this succeeds phenomenally because it's I like the map design. I like picking a different Spartan. I like that they're slightly different with the visor and the loadout. I had a really good time playing. So I'm looking forward to playing through the rest of the game with our community and you guys. Because I want to beat all legendary now because it's a great challenge. Not too hard, not too easy. That perfect balance. I'm loving it. Multiplayer.
We have to get together.
We have to get together. I mean, I'll probably play more of it at night because I'm so excited about actually being able to play with other people online. Multiplayer, real quick. It's the opposite. I thought I would like Warzone and hate Arena. I kind of really like Arena a lot, and I'm kind of pretty mad on Warzone right now because I've only played with people that don't talk. But if you talk with your squad in Arena, oh man, that is like a throwback to MLG Halo 2 days where like you are just running a train on the other team, and it is so much fun. I like the maps. I liked the new weapons. I like the way the gameplay and combat works in the 4v4 setting. The Warzone is more of kind of like a big old cluster F where you just kind of running around doing your own thing, kind of hoping your teammates aren't messing up. But I like that you have the AI one, but you also have the assault, which is just 12 versus 12, no AI. You guys go at it. They did a good job balancing that all out. So I got to say, for my $60 that I spent on this game, I'm impressed. I enjoyed it. The story was really good for that. Danny, you were talking about that Empire Strikes Back of Halo. Very good analogy. I am very excited for Halo 6 now, and that is all I will say. And I did not think I would say those words. So 343, you did do an about face. I am impressed. I have no reason to ever play Halo 4 ever again because I hate that game. 5 is a replacement. It is a much better version of that idea. So,
okay.
Halo
So you
5.
have to talk to Paris about this.
Yes,
one of these days.
we're about to talk to him about it. But let's play some games, you guys. Add me on Xbox Live, Paulston J. Let's get some games going because I'm enjoying the Halo. It's a lot of fun when you play with friends.
So do you see this playing? Do you see yourself playing this game a very long time, or are you gonna go to like other games? Or
I'll jump back and forth. I do plan on playing through the story mode at least maybe 2 more times, depending on who wants to play with me. But multiplayer wise, yeah, I would jump back and forth between Black Ops and Battlefront. Later this year. Because I like.
You see yourself going with Destiny?
Okay, so. All right, so I'm going to throw a little bit of shade on Destiny right quick. I'm going to hail nothing but crap from Paris later about this. So
You got my attention.
All right, so when I beat Halo 5, the single player, I was like, that was fun. I'm going to go play Destiny. I haven't played Destiny in 2 weeks to compare it. Destiny, bothers me when I'm doing the same PvE content over and over again. That's not the raid because I have to set that up in advance. But like the heroics and the dailies, I've grinded them all so much now. Only Crucible is still fun to me. So I think I'll still raid with anybody who wants to raid. But as far as like daily Destiny play goes, I think I'm just going to kind of wait till the next expansion because I like new content. I don't like, and this is coming from a WoW player back in the day. Like I don't like grinding on things endlessly because like I'm on like light level 292. I'm not going to get any higher until I go raid stuff in the raid more. Mm-hmm. And that's fun. I'm cool with that. But as far as like getting on daily and like collecting legendary marks, I'm done with that. I'd rather play another game that gives me more stimulation for my playtime. Now that said, Destiny is still a better first person shooter than Halo 5. So I still have to say that on the record so people don't like jump down my throat. Because Bungie still makes a better first-person shooter than 343 does. Let's be perfectly honest here. But right now, I'm loving the co-op of Halo 5, so that's going to have all my attention for the foreseeable future. But again, if you guys want to play Destiny, I'm on PlayStation, I'm Kosev. You want to raid or do Crucible, I'm all on board anytime. But
I just wonder how long that enthusiasm is going to last. You can only co-op for so long.
True. As I said, it's not going to be a situation where like Halo 3 and Reach was, where I beat the co-op 5, 10, 12, 15 times because it was so addictive at the time. There's too much competition. So I know I'm going to beat it on Legendary with 4-player co-op with friends, and then I probably would go through one more time with another set of people if they want to play with me because I really like the way the combat system works in the co-op multiplayer. I would just never, ever play the single player again. Once was enough for me. It is not that fun by yourself a second time around. But okay, I know I'm ranting. Let me concise this down to one argument. My issue I figured out is not with 343. My issue with Halo 5 is the Promethean enemies. They are some of the worst enemy designs I have ever seen in a first-person shooter. And I've been playing first-person shooters for 20 years. So let me tell you, I know what I'm talking about here. They messed up bringing Prometheans back. They should have been only in 4, and they should have either just made Covenant in 5 or added a new enemy type. But anytime I go from fighting the Covenant's Prometheans, I go from having fun and playing Halo to becomes a chore, and I'm hiding behind cover, and I'm fighting these stupid teleporting, cheating robots. And it's not fun. It never is. It never will be.
In a way, yeah, it's pretty random. I'm not going to lie with that. But I find it challenging. I find it more challenging.
It's challenging, but it's
than 4. And here's the thing too, is that the elites and the hunters, I find them extremely hard.
See, I don't. But again, I don't want to play the elitism card because like I've been fighting Covenant for 10 years. I memorized their attack patterns. I know how they fight. I know how to kill them.
Though it changed. They changed, especially the hunters. They change.
They're still stupid.
They're
though.
Not the same.
Yes, they do have a new weapon. It's cool. I like they have 2 weapons now. Mixes it up a little bit. But, just fighting Covenant, that's Halo to me. Fighting Flood, that's Halo. That's fine. Fighting Prometheans.
Really possible, but you want to fight the same thing over and over?
No. They should have made a new alien race or a new enemy threat. But just copying and pasting the Prometheans from 4 to 5 was a horrible mistake.
There's not the same. I don't see the same. I don't see
compare.
The same,
I mean, even compared to the Vex, the Vex are way more interesting of a robot enemy than the Prometheans, and that's one example. I mean, Bungie knows how to make enemy AI. They've proven that time and time again.
What about? I'm not gonna mention the name, but what about the boss? Bosses.
Oh, lame.
Yeah, lame.
Predictable, boring, and lame. I mean,
no, I don't see that.
What you're talking about, that final, that 3 thing, like I soloed that in Heroic in 2 tries. Like it's again, Halo 5 is let's be honest, Halo 5 is a really easy game. It's easy.
Danny, you just said you're basic and you're garbage.
I'm not calling anyone out. I'm talking about me.
He just spit in my face.
Halo 5 is easy. Play it on Legendary, 4-player co-op, or only play it on Heroic by yourself. And even then, if you play with buddies, play with buddies because it's a co-op.
Possible. We're gonna try it Legendary.
We should.
I've gone to Mission 5 Legendary. It's way too hard by yourself. I need a group.
Oh no, you have to do at least 2-3 people. The fourth AI can be like you can use it as a medic that you can send back and forth. By the way, I like the fact that whoever plays their chief as Locke has the ability to give squad commands that no one else can do. That's a neat little feature, and I like that. So someone can take the authority to be like, oh, I know what to do. I'll play as a chief. I'll play as Locke. I'll lead us through this. So it just there's little things here and there. I like that about Halo 5. It gives it a soul. It makes me connect to these characters I've been reading in books about for 10 years. I'm like, oh man, it's so cool to see Blue Team in the flesh and hear them talking. But I think 343 did a very good job. I think they did a very good job adapting 4 into 5, and I'm looking forward to what they're going to do with 6 now. I can't lie. I had to get that out of me. Thank you.
I know. Interesting. Paris is probably going to be laughing.
We're going to have to talk. I'll have to talk to Paris later.
He just spit. Pawson just strictly came to me over here, like at my house, and he goes, "Pooh!" He straight spit on my face. And just basically
Spit in your face, and he kicked your Xbox.
And kicked my Xbox. No, and not kicked it. He slammed the Xbox and walked away. That's what he just did right now. All right. So we're going to take a short break, guys. And once we come back, we're going to have Greg Rice from Double Fine. He's going to be talking about their indie event, Day of the Devs. And we'll be right back after this.
Voicemail 786-2737-GTR.
Socks. That's right, socks. Anyone that knows me or follows me on social media knows I have a thing for socks. And I have to tell you guys about Mack Weldon. These guys were dope enough to send me a few pairs. And I have to say, they're the most comfortable things in the history of hosiery. Yeah, I just said that, didn't I? Whatever, I'm sticking with it. They're that good. They stay up. They have this little padding on the bottom that literally feels like little pillows for your feet. And not just that, they're mad stylish as well. They also sent me some t-shirts. I mean, who doesn't dig t-shirts, right? But these shirts are special. They have this thing called XT2 silver, which means they've got silver woven into the fabric of the shirt. And because of the silver tech in the shirts, means they're antimicrobial and anti-odor. And with Fallout 4 coming out soon, this means you can literally get lost in the wasteland for days without smelling or needing VADs to get healthy. And if that wasn't enough, if you don't dig what you get, doesn't fit right or whatever, they'll replace it or refund your money, no questions asked, or returns needed. The whole process is a breeze. Just head on over to mackweldon.com. That's mackweldon.com to place your order and get 20% off by using the promo code GTR. That's promo code GTR and save 20% right now over at mackweldon.com.
Voicemail 786-2737-GTR.
All right, Pawson, we have a special guest for this week's episode, right?
We do, actually. Maker of studio Double Fine Studios. You may have heard of them. Made some really great games in the past. Psychonauts, Broken Age, Day of the Tentacle,
Broken Age is
Maniac
fun.
Mansion. I mean, games that I kind of grew up hearing so many good things about and then getting to play them later on when I get a little bit older because, play my age card here. A little young for the old school PC adventure games, but boy, did I love the later titles like the Psychonauts and things like that. Greg, do you want to introduce yourself and what you do at Double Fine?
Yeah, hi, I'm Greg Rice. I am at Double Fine. I kind of head up all the biz dev and publishing stuff over here.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So tell us a little about this event that you guys are having very, very soon called Day of the Devs.
Sure.
What's that about?
Yeah, so this event. This is the third time that we'll be doing this, but it's an event local here in San Francisco that we kind of gather together a lot of our friends' games and games that we're excited about to show off to the public. So it's a free, open to the public event and free for developers, just trying to highlight some cool games that we're excited about.
I know you guys are really focusing on pushing the indie scene out there to the masses because and now more than ever we've been seeing a lot of developers from the independent side releasing games everywhere from mobile, PC, and also consoles. In your opinion, why is it so important to promote this to the gamers that never heard of them?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just that these are the people that are actually making the games that people love to play. And for many years, the industry was set up in such a way that a lot of people didn't know who these people were behind their games. And luckily, Tim was one of the few that, had his name on the box at a very early stage of the game industry. And I think that's becoming more and more common now for people to know who are making the games behind them, which ultimately is just going to kind of give people a better understanding of the games that they're trying to play and where these people are coming from. So we're just trying to do everything we can to help highlight creators who are doing interesting new things in the space and try to help widen the breadth of what games can do and games can be. And this is one example of it. Yeah, man, the event started actually just because we, after the Kickstarter for Broken Age, wanted to try and put something together to show our fans the game for the first time and have like one of the first times that the game can be played, be open to the public and available for our backers to come. And we just knew that we were going to do that. It needed a bunch of space, and because of such, we had room for other games. And so we kind of just happened into doing this the first year, and it was super fun and went really well. And now it's just become something we want to do every year, and it's just continuing to grow and become even cooler.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. 'Cause I like your comment about having the game creators on the box. You know, there's people like the Tim Schafers, the Ken Levines, the Hideo Kojimas, the Miyamotos of the world. Like, I think that is a good way to direct the future of the marketing of these games, because you have the best game idea in the world, but there's so many other people out there with these other ideas that's kind of hard to get your name out there. What do y'all do for these independent developers to help support them for these Day of the Devs event? Like, how do you organize and get them together and make sure they're showing off the best work that they can possibly do as a studio?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the names you just listed off are people who have really strong voices and are kind of have a very particular style of game that they like to make. And I think that now the indie space has just become a hotbed of that. And there's a lot of people out there now that have released multiple games in that space and are starting to kind of make a name for themselves. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that with this, it's just a matter of, we have a process of curating these games and getting things that we think are interesting and exciting. And then ultimately the hope is that we can be very friendly to the developers through the event and organize in such a way that makes it very easy for them. We've just done a lot of events ourselves and been to a lot of shows and trade shows, and it can be a lot of work and a lot of money. So we try to put a lot of our sponsorship money and efforts into making sure that developers can kind of just slide in and that everything is set up and we have TVs for them and PCs for them, and they just kind of have to be there to represent their game. And I think it's just ultimately trying to create an environment where everyone just feels happy and supported, and that it's more of a celebration and something kind of like more like a music festival or a film festival than like a traditional conference that's a little bit more rigid.
Yeah, I think that relaxed environment is very important for promoting the growth of ideas, because you don't want people to feel like they have a great idea, but they don't want to share it because they're afraid someone's going to steal it from them, because it's never going to promote any growth in the industry. What's like compared to last year? What are y'all expecting response wise from new developers that y'all now didn't have contact with last year but have signed on for this year's Day of the Devs? How many people are we talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the list right now, and I mean, it looks like it's a little bit over 30 games.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, I mean, it's kind of all over the place. There's a few that we've had at shows before that still haven't released. All the games that we're going to be showing are unreleased games. But yeah, a lot of them are first time at Day of the Devs, and some of them are even, this is their first major game on their own. So
oh, nice.
It's exciting to see kind of the breadth of what we have, all the way from like nearly AAA games to one-man studios doing their first thing.
The majority of the games that is going to be at your event, this is console, PC. Like, what type of games are we gonna see this year at the event?
Yeah, I mean, it's we try to have a breadth of titles at the show. So there's definitely a fair amount of PC games, a lot of console games. We have, I think, 5 VR games this year as well, which nice. We had a few of those last year too. And they're range from PlayStation VR to Oculus to Vive. So we'll have all of those playable. But yeah, I think that they just share. The thing that they share is that they're just creator-driven projects that are kind of excelling on all fields, from art to audio to game design and mechanics, and it's titles that we're proud to be showing our games next to.
Yeah, I was just curious. Do you usually have representatives from large companies like Microsoft or Sony or Nintendo on hand to see these projects firsthand, or do y'all help get these relationships built up after the fact? How does it usually work out at a press conference, like developer conference like this?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them kind of already have financing and publishing in place, but there definitely are some that are purely still independent games. And we do have sponsors like Sony and Microsoft and Intel and NVIDIA that will all be there on hand to kind of check things out. And I'm sure that there might be some relationships formed. But yeah, I think that a lot of these are just, I think some of them are pretty early, some of them are nearly releasing, so they're kind of a wide range and spectrum of the types of titles that we're having on display.
So let's say I'm an independent developer and I go to your event for the first time, and I want to be involved for next year's event. How the process work for that?
Yeah, it's pretty loose. I mean, I do a lot of the curation stuff myself, and a lot of it is just private stuff that I've seen at festivals and shows and GDC and Fantastic Fest and things like that, and just I kind of do like direct invites, but then we do try to do a public open call too. And so I think it's just something to keep an eye on our Twitter account for a public call. And we have a lot of like indie developer message boards that we post on about the event. But I think it's more just getting in touch with us at Double Fine and talking about your game. We, like I mentioned briefly, we're doing external publishing now as well, and in addition to all the publishing of Double Fine games that we do. And so we've helped with publishing efforts on games like Getting Beasts and Mountain and Escape Goat 2, and we're also helping on a new game called Nog. So I think that in general, we're just trying to be friendly and helpful wherever we can. We have a lot of things we're doing internally already for our games that it's really easy to extend to other folks' games as well. So I think we just try to encourage people to email us at indies@doublefine.com whenever with just pitches or just even a friendly hello. And then I think a lot of times that will swing back around to something happening. But I think in general, the indie scene is just really well connected. Everybody is very friendly and helpful. And so I think it's like trying to help stimulate that community and keep it alive and vibrant. I think it's just growing and becoming more and more interesting all the time.
Do you have any success stories of past, during like from last year's event, let's say, an independent developer that released their game sometime this year and it was a huge success? Do you have any success stories about that or no?
Yeah, I was trying to look back at the lineup. We swapped out where would I even find that? I'm so focused on this year that I kind of already am forgetting. Okay, here it is. Let's see. Yeah. So, I mean, last year, I guess ones that have been released since then that we had, I think we were one of the first to show Tilt Brush, which is kind of now the go-to Vive demo that people are talking about, or Oculus demo in general. What has released? I guess the games that have released since last time are Axiom Verge, Scapegoat 2, we had Firewatch. There was a lot of really early Oculus demos, which people hadn't really seen before. A lot of great games. I mean, M++, Panoramical, we had a very early showing of that game, which is out now. Subnautica, which is doing very, very well. But I mean, I think a lot of these were games that you could just tell from looking at that they were going to be popular and successful, and they just needed to get the word out there as much as they could. And so, I think that the types of games that we have shown in the past have been kind of what we've called AAA games in the past, the kind of larger indie games that are verging into the AAA space. But we even had things like the first year we had Fantasia from Harmonix, which was a fairly large game as well. So, I think that in general, we just like to show whatever is exciting and interesting to us.
Do you have a lot of repeat producers and developers come back to y'all, like people that have had success with your promotion in the past? Do they come back to y'all and say, hey, we're making another game. Would you be interested in, now that you external publish, have you reached out or have they reached out to y'all to get part of that deal? Yeah,
there's people whose games we've already published that we're hoping to work with again on their next titles, which is cool. And there's definitely Day of the Devs games that have shown multiple times. Spy Party has been at all 3 Day of the Devs. Cappy has had a game, I believe, at all 3 Day of the Devs. But I don't know. I mean, I think it's a really exciting event. And more than anything, it's just selfishly a time for us to get our friends together to play each other's games. And
yeah, man, that's the best.
Yeah.
And the best part too is having also the gamers there, not only the developers, but the gamers, the fans, attending this event. What are they going to expect? Like, let's say a regular gamer locally just show up at the event. What are they going to see at this event?
Yeah.
Besides, seeing all these independent games and other stuff.
And that was definitely the thing that got us excited about it from the very beginning, is just that there wasn't something local like this that was open to the public at the time. And so there's just not a lot of shows like this that are just highlighting games for the public and not trying to be a huge, big marketing thing. But I think it's just a very nice vibe and atmosphere to be in. We have 30 games. We'll have a handful of musicians who do music for games as well, food trucks, and a really neat space. So it should just be a good time, a good day. I mean, we're going to be showing off a bunch of Double Fine games too, and always do. So this is one of the first times we'll have Day of the Tentacle Remastered available for people to play. And we'll be highlighting on stage a bit of Headlander, one of our new titles as well. So there's going to be a lot going on. It should be fun.
Do you see guys doing this in other cities in the future, maybe next year, 2 years from now?
Yeah, we have talked about that. I mean, there's a lot of events already, and I feel like it's very easy to go to something every month for a game developer. So that's one of the big things for us is just making sure it's very easy for developers to show. But I do feel like for the public, I think that there's a lot of underserved areas and time of year that you could slot into. So I feel like it's something that's always talked about, and pretty soon we might start trying to do a few others in some other cities as well.
That would be great, because that was one of my questions I was going to ask is like how many of the developers y'all work with are already in the California or the Bay Area to begin with, or do you have a lot of people that will travel from out of state just to come to Day of the Devs as a developer?
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of developers coming from outside the city as well. Which is nice. I think it's just mostly a testament to the games that are there. I think that whenever I've reached out to somebody about playing it, there's been interest, and I think it's because the lineups have been so good in the past.
Yeah.
And I do feel bad about talking about this too much on the podcast when a lot of listeners probably will just have no way to be able to come, but we will be.
But I love hearing about it. It gets me excited.
Yeah, it's just a cool scene that's happening that I hope people are hip to. But there will be a live stream of the stage, which definitely just kind of shows a small part of the show. It's just highlighting a few of the titles. But it's something for sure. And also, I think that, let's see. Yeah, we just actually today, which I don't know when this is running, but launched our Day of the Devs Humble Bundle. So there's a bundle right now that's half Double Fine games that have been at the show before and half other developers' games who've been at the show before that we're putting out to kind of raise money for the event and for charity as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
Can you mention the names of the ones that are going to be there, the games?
Yeah, the games in the bundle are the base Play What You Want tier is Hack and Slash from us, Costume Quest from us, and Lumino City, which is from State of Play Games. It's a really pretty point-and-click adventure game. Then Beat the Average is Scapegoat 2 from Magical Time Bean, which is a game that we published. Mercenary Kings from Tribute Games, which is a 2D action game. And then at pay $13 or more, there's Massive Chalice and Grim Fandango Remastered from Double Fine, and a VIP ticket to the event, which will get you in a little bit early and allow you to skip the line and things like that.
Wow, sweet deal.
There you go, VIP.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So one more time, mention the name of the event website for more details, and also tell us the date so people could actually try to attend the event if they're in that area.
So it's Day of the Devs. It's just dayofthedevs.com. It's November 7th here in San Francisco. And the bundle's up at humblebundle.com. It's the weekly bundle right now.
Very cool. And what's the best place they can watch the stream of the stage if they can't make it to the event?
Yeah, twitch.tv/doublefine.
Excellent.
Which I think is not on the website. We should add that to the website.
All right. We'll help spread the word for y'all because I'll definitely be watching it come the 7th.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, Greg, thanks a lot. And, guys, head over there if you're in the local area or just close. Just show up.
Yeah, seriously. Free
We're gamers.
Come on. Food trucks, music. Come on. You can't get better than that. I wish I was there.
Yeah. No, I would list off the games, but it's kind of, it would take too long. They're all on the website. Lots of really good video games.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
All right, but thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, appreciate it, Greg.
Great.
All right, so that was the interview, Pawson. That was a great interview. I had a blast.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I have to keep track of all those games they're going to show because I really want to start following the development for them because that list that they showed of the 30 games they're going to present, I knew maybe 5 of those, and I feel kind of bad. It's oh man, I'm way too out of the indie game scene. I need to readjust myself to what's happening and what's making waves in the industry right now. So props to Double Fine. I love people that support independent developers because it lets them get their foot in that door. And once you get that foot in the door, man, you got the ambition and the imagination and the passion, man, you can do some crazy great things in the video game industry. So definitely. More power to the independent devs out there.
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up. Pawson, thanks, man. That last show was the Pawson J show. This time it was let's spit in Godfrey's face. That's the hashtag. What about you, Pete? You want to say anything else? Pete, are you alive?
He fell out of his chair.
Did you just punch Pete
out.
too? Like, are you angry, boss?
I drove to Pete's house, got him on his lawn, and then fought him
Yeah,
on
it's
said
like
lawn.
on the way down to Miami, he stopped at West Palm Beach, slapped my kids, kicked my dogs, took my beer, and
So
then
his
drove down to
hashtag-
Miami, spit in
Yeah.
your face, and kicked your Xbox.
So his hashtag spit on Godfrey's face, and the other one is hashtag I beat up Pete in front of his house or something like that. Damn, Boston is on the road. He's on the
Man.
road right now. Yeah,
Austin Tag Radio. Coming soon.
Boston
it's
Tag
happening.
Radio. All right, so we're going to wrap it up, guys. Head over to gamertagradio.com. Post your comments and feedback. Also, give us a call, 786-273-7GTR. That's 786-273-7GTR. Or email us, fanmail@gamertagradio.com. One of these days, Boston has a major game that's going to be reviewing. Can't say what it is. It's going to be coming up very soon, correct?
It is, and I'm excited. Can't wait to
Yeah,
get
he's
my fans
excited.
on, and
Very
I
soon.
am. I can't lie. I do like my my blanking and blanking that you do in blank game because embargoes. But you guys won't be disappointed for sure. I'll get back to you more when I can actually legally speak about what I'm trying to talk about. But look forward to it.
P, anything else you're going to be reviewing in the or no?
Should have a review of the Razer Mamba Tournament Edition
Mamba.
gaming mouse coming out. Guys, it's sick.
So that's next week.
Yes, that's coming. Also, we'll be reviewing some hardware coming soon. I believe the name is the exotic MSI GT72S Dominator Pro. There's way too many words and numbers and
Wow,
letters,
yeah,
but let
you
me tell
confused me
you-
already.
Wow, I just like this is
Let me tell you, this laptop that I am reviewing is a monster beast, and I'm saying it right now. It's going to make Paris's desktop look like a Nintendo Super NES.
wow. So
Shots fired.
not only Boston spit at me and beat up Pete, but Pete
This is a very
Also-
angry episode of GTR.
he
I
just
used the
basically
TARDIS,
flipped the
Time Lord.
table. You basically punched Paris and slammed his computer. So what's a great hashtag for that? Think of a hashtag for
Yak
that.
versus Paris's PC.
Nah, that doesn't sound. That doesn't sound. I don't know. Pete just basically punched Paris in his face and slammed his computer. Like, your computer sucks.
Pretty much compared to this thing. Oh yeah,
Okay,
thing's a beast.
but there you go. All right, so guys, we're out. Thanks for listening. Thank you for downloading. Love you all, everybody worldwide. We're out. Peace.
You're listening to Gamer Tag Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Thanks for listening. Tune in next week.